was cool. If you guys don't have a reason to build the business yet, then, I mean, if you're looking for a reason, like, if you're just exploring your options, that's one thing. But if you're looking for a reason to build this business, do it so that somebody you build a relationship with would introduce you like that. That was so cool. I was trying to talk to Alex and not listen to what she said because I didn't want to tear up. But that was really cool. Thank you, Noelle. She's gone already. Okay, so we're here to talk about, is she? Oh, she's in there, okay. Can you guys see it? What do I have to do? Carlos. There we go. No. Do I got to press the green button? I'll just see it all my time to Belle, and she can come back up and keep talking. That was the coolest talk. Who was in here for that talk already? Oh, man. Okay, that was just awesome. Is it up? Okay. Yay! Foxhole allies. You heard Noelle say cross-line running buddies. Same thing. This is just the military version of it. Foxhole allies. Build a friendship, build a glow ship. What do we mean by glow ship? So that would be so here's you, and then you hire somebody. That person there, if you help that person become a regional manager, or you get out of that person's way and they become a regional manager, or they hire somebody who becomes, anybody that spawns out of that organization that becomes a regional manager, then you have the ability to earn a glow bonus on that, which is a minimum of $4,400 a month. $4,400 a month. Not your overrides from that group, just the glow bonus from that group. So is it worth it to build a friendship if it's going to lead to a glow ship? Why not? I mean, you would build a friendship anyway if you like the person. But then to get an extra $4,400 as a reward. So Alex says, build a friendship, build a glow ship. And that's the title of the talk. What does it say? Okay. So we're going to cover why, how, and with whom you build a friendship. So we start with why. You make a friend before you need a friend. That's what Andy's always saying, right? And because things are going to go down. I mean, they're going to go down. Stuff's going to happen to us. And when it goes down, if you've already built a friendship with somebody, it's not going to seem so bad, right? Like it's going to take the bad stuff and cut it in half, meaning like you'll be able to weather the storm. Like something bad will happen to you, and Stephen, you'll laugh about it. Something small, maybe like you get hung up on the phone, and then you call Connor and say, "You would not believe what this rascal just said," and then he laughs with you, and it's just like it lowers the badness of it. And the good stuff gets doubled. Like when you have something to celebrate, Bob, and you celebrate it with one of your friends that you've built a friendship with, it's like you're both twice as excited. You're both twice as enthused. You've empowered each other double. So that's one of the reasons why. But bottom line, stuff is going to happen. And if you have not built a friendship with somebody in the business, Justin, that thing that happens, like if it's a wind, it could just blow you right out of the business. So you want to have somebody you've built a relationship with so that when that stuff happens, you can hang on to them. I love when Adam Katz stands up and says, there were days when I wanted to quit the business. This must have been a long time ago because you can't imagine Katz wanting to quit now, right? But he says there were days he wanted to quit the business. And then Beth says there were days she wanted to quit the business. But what do they say? They never both wanted to quit the business on the same day. Now, we can't all be married to Beth, so we have to build our own relationships, our own friendships with other people. So it's like when Andy says the monkeys in the cage thing. Have you heard that? If you haven't heard that, it's kind of cool. Like if they're doing lab tests on a monkey, that's not the cool part. I'm just saying when they put the monkeys in the cage, one monkey in the cage, that monkey is getting scared and hiding in the back. I don't want to pull a Noelle back here. And they're cowering. But then you open the cage, dump another monkey in there, shut the cage, 2 monkeys in there. Now they're like, hey, we can do this. So they go up to the front, they grab the bars, they're like, You know, what test are you going to do? You can't scare me. That's like that, what we're supposed to do. We're like monkeys in the cage. We feel the same way. When we have friends, we can weather storm. Okay, so who do we build a relationship with? That was the why. Here's the who. First of all, everybody. Like, when has developing relationships ever failed you? When has building a friendship ever failed you? An actual friendship. Like, do it with everybody. Do it with your clients. Do it with people here, Carlos. Do it with staff in the Alliance, integrity partners. Do it with carriers. But in our business, we're talking specifically about upline, crossline, and downline when we talk about building a friendship, building a glow ship. So let's start with upline. So that's the first relationship you should build. So my first job when I got in the business was to build a friendship with Alex. And there's a built-in trust factor. Like, let's say you come into the business and you don't know anybody here. Did anybody come into the Alliance and you didn't know anybody else except the person who hired you when you came in? Yeah, look around, keep your hands up. It's most people. Most people, when they come in, they know one person. That's the person that brought them in. Build a friendship with that person, Jake. Like, that's your lifeline, quickly. And you might not know that you can trust that person yet. But what do you know? You know that you can trust that that person, like, wants you to succeed, because if you succeed, they make money. Like, why would they do something bad to you, Jake, if it hurts their family's income? And if you're brand new, you might not know this, but if Jake makes $1, then the person who hires him makes a dime. The person who hires him doesn't make a dime until Jake makes $1. So that's why you can feel safe to build trust fast with the person who hired you, okay? That's an easy way, Kate, to start building a relationship. They wouldn't do anything to harm your business, because that would be like just taking a shotgun out and shooting their foot off. It would just be crazy. So how do you let the person who hired you know that you're the person to build a friendship with? Like, Alex just hired 12 people. How do you know? Because he just hired 12 people all the time. He's always hiring 12 people. And the last 12 people he hired, how does he know which one to build a friendship with? Might be 3, might be 2. How does he know which ones? We let the person who hired us know we're the one. Me, I'm the one. Build a friendship with me, right? How do you let them know? Do you do that? You can do that, or you can do other things like show up. Where can you show up? You can show up at the meetings. You can show up at Zoom meetings, conference calls. You can show up at hotspot meetings. You can show up here. When you showed up here, what did you tell your upline? I'm the one. I'm the one to build a friendship with. Please. You know, I'll give you a crazy example of showing up. When I first met Alex, this was in December of 1996. I went to the very first meeting. It wasn't this big of a meeting, but I went to the first meeting, and Alex was talking to his team and other guests. I was a guest. And he was telling them how his wife had just been through labor and delivered their very first baby. It was snowing out. It was December. He didn't go into all the details, Jenny. But knowing Alex, he went into more details than most people would have gone into. I remember the phrase salad tongs were used. Anyway, if you're faint of heart, I won't go into all that. But the point is, he was sharing this, and I was like, wow. That wasn't all he talked about, Debbie, at the meeting. And the other stuff he talked about, I was like, wow, I want what he's got. I want what he's talking about. I like this guy. So the meeting's over. All the guests scatter. Agent stayed. I stayed. I said, can I stay? Sure, you can stay. So I stayed. Then the meeting's over. The training meeting is then over, and everyone goes home. We walk out to the parking lot. It's snowing out. He lifts up the trunk of his car, hands a box to some guy named Mike, and I hear him and Mike talking about the baptism coming up tomorrow morning. And I'm like, oh, cool. Is that like some business meeting? I'm like, can I go to that? I'd never been to a baptism. Like, I wasn't doing Catholic meetings, Christian meetings. I was a heathen. I was just out there, and I was like, when Mike drove away, not Mike Leventovich, not Noel's husband, some other Mike, I said, hey, Alex, can I come to your baptism tomorrow? And he's like, okay. So the next morning, I show up at this church. There's like 12 people. It's like family members, really close, just a small group of people. And I get there, and Ginny is walking up with, the baby carriage. The carrier walks up to the door, and I'm like, and she's like, thank you. Who's that? And we go and sit down. They're all doing their, stand up. So I stand up, and they're praying. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is the Alliance. I showed up. He didn't know anything about me, but he knew, okay, this guy is showing up, right? Edify. That's another way to let your upline know, I'm the one to build. When you, they don't need you to edify them. They're okay. Your upline is okay. But like when Andy would come into a room, and if I'm talking, Mike, I would say, here's what I got from Andy. Even if it's something that I got from Alex, I say I got it from Andy. Am I lying? No, if I wouldn't have come into the Alliance, I would have never had that. I got that because Andy led to Alex, led to me. You can all say that. Whenever you're talking or sharing a secret, say, I got this from my upline. Say their name. That's edifying them. That's giving credibility, power to that person. So when they talk to other people, others will listen too. Why not? It's free to give them that credit. Why wouldn't you do that? And when they hear you say things like that, they're like, this person wants to be in the Alliance. They're going to want to build a friendship with you. Just silly, simple stuff like that. And it's true too, but I'm just saying it's so simple. If your upline tells you to do something and you do it, whoa, that is massively telling them, okay, I should build a friendship with this person. It's so easy for them to tell you stuff and to not do it. I would know. We would all know, but I would know. Okay. Who's the next person we would build an upline with? Crossline. Remember, when you come into the business, you know that one person, the person who brought you in, everyone else is crossline. Every other person is what we call crossline when you come into the business. So minor detail there on the upline. The person who hires you, that might be like your mom or your dad, your upline. Their mom and dad, your grandparents, we also call those people upline. We don't say like your great upline. Every single person that led to you is called your upline. But outside of that line of people, everyone else is your crossline when you get started, okay? And there is something really powerful you can do, is to have a strong cross-line running buddy. If you have a strong friendship cross-line, it's so powerful. First of all, I would recommend counseling with the person who brought you in, or your upline, the one that you're getting advice from, whom you should build a cross-line relationship with. Like when we come in, we don't know anybody. Remember all the hands that were raised? We don't know anybody. Well, you know what's natural? You just build a friendship with the first person you're talking to, and they could be frail. Like the first wind blows, they're gone. And then you're gone with them because you built a friendship with them. You're both gone. Brilliant. Your upline won't let that happen to you. If you ask them, so Alex recommended that I build a friendship with Mike. Or more likely, he talked to Mike behind my back and said, just tolerate him, And we got along, so it was easy. Both engineers, that was not hard at all. So not for me. But like new agents don't know, so give them some advice of the person they should build. Now, why is it so powerful to build a relationship crossline? Because then when you edify them to anybody else, that's very special. Why? Because you have no financial gain. They have no financial gain. You're crosslines. You're brothers and sisters in the business, like to use the family analogy. So, like when they succeed, you don't make money. When you succeed, they don't make money. And yet you're still saying all these nice things about them? Like people really, they're like, whoa, that must be true. because they don't benefit. Why would they say that? There's no ulterior motive there. Everybody, they'll know that. People are smart. We notice stuff. Wow, they're not making money and they're still saying nice things about each other. That's powerful, guys. And then when you build up their team, you're building the alliance, and you're not getting a financial benefit. You actually will long-term and in other ways. But the real thing, what Belle was talking about, is what's happening. It's just really cool. All right, so the last person you would build a relationship with is your downline. And it's not last because it's not as important. It's just you don't have downline when you start. But guys, we have so much power if we have a downline, because we can reach out to them. We can call them. For you young people, this is a signal of, it means you're calling somebody. I know nobody actually holds a phone up to their head anymore, but my generation. So when you call somebody in your group, they might not know that you're accessible. They might not know that they're allowed to call you. Heck, have you seen how much edification Alex has gotten at this conference? I mean, they might see him and know that he's married to Ginny and they're both on stage and they're talking. Am I allowed to reach out to him? And then he calls you? That's so powerful. If our job is to be a director of motivation, I heard Alex say this, like, our job is to be directors of motivation. Our job is to sell hope. Our job is to tell people it's going to be okay. Well, if that's our job, how can we do it if they don't call us? We got to call them. And so if they're calling us, or later on, like they're in the home and you're like, I don't know if I should take the call, press the green dot. Just press the green dot. I probably didn't get on the right. Is there? Okay. Hey, I actually said some of those things. Hey. We're responsible for them, kind of like with our own children, right? They're not going to know stuff. It's our job. But when they call, press the green dot. If they're in a home and you're thinking, I'm not that great at field underwriting. I'm not like Jonathan Yakey. I don't know what products to recommend. Press the green dot. You can edify them to their client. You can talk to their client and say good things about that agent. If they call you and they're going through something really bad and you don't maybe have the tools or the wisdom how to deal with it, press the green dot. You can listen to them. You can pray with them. When you press that green dot, you are so powerful. Please, I keep thinking of this guy. Alex and I will laugh about it because he actually told his team, I will be available for you for an entire hour once a week. If you call me during that hour, I will take this. This is an actual thing that an actual human being said. And he was in my group, so. But anyway, past tense. Please don't be like that. So how do we build? So we talked about why do we build friendships and who do we build friendships with? Now, how do we build friendships? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time. You know how to build friendships way better than I know how to build friendships. But there's some things you can do that will make it almost impossible to build a friendship, or they could damage the friendship. And they are the 3 cardinal rules. What are the 3 cardinal rules? Who knows them? Well, those are great cardinal rules, but they're not the 3 cardinal rules. Meaning they're not the ones that we have on a poster. Okay, but those are good ones too. Don't do those things either. The 3 cardinal rules are never mess with anybody's money. We call them cardinal rules. They're not like from Stanford, or they're not like, it's every organization, not just in the Alliance, everywhere. Don't mess with anybody's money. Don't mess with anybody's spouse. Don't mess with anybody's ego. Just very quickly, on the money thing, there's so many ways that we can mess with people's money that we might not even realize. So we just don't have time to go through it right now. But one way is if you hurt somebody's business, that hurts their money. Their business brings in their money. Like, you can do all kinds of things with Andy, but don't mess with his business. Have you seen The Godfather? Like, it would not be good to mess with his business. And we, fortunately, are his business. We're his business. Like, he protects us. Never mess with anybody's spouse doesn't just mean if you're married or not, Brian. If it's somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend, I'm not saying anybody in here would mess with somebody else's spouse. That's not my point. But this is a safe place. We come here to the Alliance to be part of our family. It's not a place to go pick up people. Like, think of it like a family. Every time we get together, it's like a family reunion. I like when I heard that earlier today. Every meeting is like a family reunion. And never mess with anybody's ego. The easiest way to mess with somebody's ego is to criticize or condemn or correct them in front of other people. As long as you don't do that, you've pretty much mostly gotten rid of how you can mess with somebody's ego. But in addition to these 3 cardinal rules, there's 3 more rules that's very specific to the alliance. They're called the alliance nevers. Never embarrass anyone in your upline. That's not because your upline can't handle it or anything like that. It's because you take away their power to help you. If you... I'm behind a slide? Okay. Thanks. So, that's not Bruce Willis, is it? I don't think so. When you... Squirrel. If you want your upline to be able to come and help you and pour edification on you, and you just embarrassed him, he has no power, or she has no power to edify you anymore. It hurts you, not them, to embarrass them. That's the reason for that rule. And never do anything the first time without first checking upline. Again, it's not because you want to make sure that your upline feels powerful and important. It's to help you. That will save you money. That will save you embarrassment. That will save you time and emotion and energy, everything. And never spread negative cross-line or downline. Oh, this is a really good one, because when you do, like, good meaning this is an important one. Don't do this. When you do it, Jason, when you spread negative cross-line, remember earlier when I said if you have a strong cross-line friendship that you can build something up and it's kind of pure, there's no financial gain? The opposite is not true. If you hurt somebody's cross-line business, if you spread negative, I'm not pointing at Alex, if you talk to another group and you spread seeds of doubt and negativity, that'll start to grow and fester like a cancer, and that can lead to lack of production and lack of income. You stole their money. And the people in their upline, you stole from all those people. That's the reason why you don't do it. So there's so much more to say about all this. I would encourage you guys, please get into like strong friendships with upline, crossline, and downline. And now I get to share you with Alex Sabian. Thank you.
Good job, Dave. So what's really interesting is that he came to Zoe's baptism, our oldest child, and then later he became baptized, and I'm his godfather. So that was kind of cool. So, which I think is what it's all about, right? It's all about. Okay, so how can you have relationships if you don't have a relationship with yourself? Like if you don't know yourself, right? The foundation of relationship begins with you. You're the foundation, okay? You. Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living, okay? It's not worth living. What do you value in your life? Do you know what you value? Now, what does that mean? Well, when you operate your life, do you live your life according to what you love and care about? Okay, how do you know what you value? Right? Do you know, if you tell me that you value your family, if I followed you around, if I was a fly on the wall following you up for the week, would I see that you value your family? Because if I see you checking Facebook, I see you having, going out with the buddies drinking, but you don't come back home to help your kids with homework, you just let your spouse do everything for your kids, I don't see you valuing your family. See, the most frustrated I've been in my life is when I did stuff that I didn't value. I couldn't figure out the incongruency there because I was doing stuff, and I think that's the source of a lot of anxiety. Like, how do you know what you value? Well, show me your calendar. Show me what you're doing. Matthew Kelly wrote this awesome book called Off Balance. And I just suggest you get it. He goes into an exercise there that teaches you how to figure out what you value. Like, he'll make you compare what you say you value God. Okay, let's compare it to hanging out with friends or your health. He'll go through this ranking order, this exercise, that by the time you're done with it, you'll figure out the top 3 things that you care about. Now then, when you live your life according to the things you value, then when you start getting congruency, then you start figuring yourself out, right? And then you operate your life with fulfillment because you're doing those things that support what you value. Now, people have this, he says in the book, this work-life balance is a veil. You know what that is? That's Satan's way of dividing what you do to take you off track, right? Because that's Satan's way of saying, oh, making you feel guilty. When you're working, you feel like you should be with your family. But then with your family, you feel like you should be working. And you're in this constant state of guilt. And that's where the core of self-image starts breaking down. And you're feeling frustrated. When you can live your life of congruency, where everything you're doing supports everything you value, there is no work-life balance. It's just living your life of fulfillment because you're doing what God wants you to do, which fulfills everything else. And it's a feeling of joy. Joy, even when things go bad, you're feeling joy. Here's the thing I have to ask you. If I follow you around, can you be convicted in court of the things you value, right? Figure that out. You have to figure that out. Next question, what are you doing to get better? Because if you're not getting better in your life, you're getting worse. Are you committed to an education program? Are you committed to a book reading program? Here's a big one. Who are your mentors? Who are the people that's pouring into you? Because if you haven't chosen your mentors, then you have mentors by accident, and God help you. Because if mentors by accident are all your broke friends who have no spiritual life, who have no life. They may, but they're stuck. And guess what? You're going to be stuck just like them. We say this all the time. You're going to be about $5,000, $10,000 of income around the people that you hang out with. But you know, that's the same thing spiritually. Because if you hang around spiritually dead people, you're going to be spiritually dead. Right? Who are you listening to? Who are you getting mentorship from? You have got to choose the people that you want to be your mentors that have the fruit on the tree. And it's okay to have multiple mentors. Wise person has many counselors. So I want to find the most spiritual people that I want to hang around, that have great marriages, right? I want to hang around people that are successful in business, making a lot of money and doing it the right way with integrity. I want those mentors. Guess what? Andy Albright fulfills all those for me. He pushes me all the time. It's scary hanging around Andy Albright. You ever well, anyway. He's awesome. So what are you doing to get better? Here's the next one. Do you have the drive to work your butt off? See, here's the thing, how you know that you're living your values is you're willing to do anything and everything to live your values. You're willing to go the extra mile. You're willing to bleed. You're willing to do whatever it takes. I remember I was at an event that just really, to my core, Andy Albright started talking about his dad. And I think Patrick might be the only one in here in this room. Noel was there. When he got on the floor and he was flailing around and he was crying because he was talking about his dad. And on his dad's deathbed, his dad said, "Get up in there, boy." For some reason, man, tears were coming down my face. And from that point on, it just inspired me. And I put, for the next 3 years, 50,000 miles on my car, traveling. That's when we were doing hotspots all over the country. And we had it kind of conveniently, geographically scheduled so we can do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday hotspot. So I would drive down to Atlanta, then I'd go to another place. And then at the end of the week, I'd come home on Friday. And I was doing that 3 to 4 weeks a month, 50,000 for 3 years. And it wasn't even my people. I was building the alliance because I felt like I just don't want to build my team because my team's the alliance team. When the alliance grows, my team grows. I wasn't just focused on the alliance. Andy inspired me, right? I wanted to work my butt off, not for myself, but for the team. There's something beautiful about that, something spiritually sound about doing things for people that you don't get financial benefit from. I always look, Mechi, over those opportunities. When people call me, they're not on my team. These guys right here, Brandon, Mark, I mean, they call me and say, like Mark goes, dude, can you help me with closing? I go, whatever you need. So we spent like an hour on the phone. He's not in my group, but I relish those opportunities to serve people not on my team because I know that my spiritual override is growing, right? And that's where it counts, right? Do you have the drive to work your butt off, man? Here's another one. What's your game plan when things don't work out? Mike Tyson says that you have a game plan until you get punched in the face. So my question for you is, do you have a game plan after you get punched in the face? So you got to figure out things like, we know what's going to happen in sales. We know that you're going to get a chargeback that's going to wipe out all your commissions for that week, and you still got to figure out how to pay your lead bill. We already know that's going to happen. That's going to happen to you. You sell this big annuity, and then you get a chargeback on that annuity, and it's like 26 grand. What are you going to do? Are you going to cry? Are you going to quit? Are you going to run away from that chargeback and join another organization and then stick your upline with that? I think that's against one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not steal. What's really interesting is all these great Christians that come, Alex, I'm Christian too. Oh, really? Until they stick you with a chargeback. Thou shalt not steal. It's so interesting to see how so-called Christians will leave you with chargebacks, and they don't think they're done anything wrong. Oh, I'm saved. Once saved, always saved. I don't know. There's something called sin. I think you have to account for the sin in your life. Does God want you to sin? The answer is no, in my humble but accurate opinion. I love it when Jesus said, and to which I agree, that what's your game plan? So you have to make those decisions in advance. Those decisions that would make other people want to quit. What is your decision when things go bad? Here's my decision. I call my upline, Andy Albright. When Jenny got diagnosed with cancer in December 2018, you know the first person I called was Jane Albright. Because when Jenny told me on the phone, I was in my car, I was like, I'm trying to be the strong husband. But then I called Jane Albright, and she calmed me down. She made everything make sense, and that's my game. My game plan is always call Andy Albright. When I got sued by some knucklehead, okay, this is something for all you to learn. Never put anything exclusionary in your recruiting ads. I put no felons in my recruiting ad. So I got sued by a professional lawsuit person who was a felon, and so I had to deal with getting this lawsuit from New York, right? Who do I call? Andy Albright. He set me up with Bob King, his lawyer, who hooked me up to a New York lawyer. And, it was a $25,000, $30,000 lawsuit turned into, $500 plus $4,500 in attorney's fees. Thank God. What is your game plan? Because if you have already made the decision not to quit, right, then you have to have one. So are you developing perseverance? Perseverance is the most important value, virtue that you can develop in anything. St. Augustine said, the ultimate perseverance is when you die, because you persevered in faith, and you'll be rewarded. Have you developed perseverance? So I think part of that perseverance, or what is perseverance? It's a virtue that involves pursuing your goal despite challenges. Never say die, doing it whatever it takes. I love this video on SEAL training. This is Bud's training. What's great about these guys is that you would think like the big burly guys are gonna survive, but only a third of people that go through Bud's become a Navy SEAL. You think it was like the big burly guys that would make it, or the guys that's the ultimate like Superman leader make it in Bud's. Those guys don't make it. Those guys fail. Those guys quit. You know who makes it in Bud's? Is that scrawny, scrappy dude that when he is exhausted and cannot give one more effort, he'll turn to the buddy next to him and encourage that person to keep going. That's who makes it in Bud's. That's who makes it in the Alliance. When you're going as hard as you can and you feel like you can't give one more effort, and then one of your person in your group calls you because they need help, you still figure out how to pick up that phone and hit the green button. That's perseverance. Finally, do you have God in your life? Do you have God in your life? 2 Timothy 2:3, verse 3 through 4. Paul tells Timothy to behave just as a soldier, as a good soldier of Christ Jesus. See, Paul gives the command to Timothy, then explains a metaphor of a soldier's life. Suffer hardship with me. The thing about being a soldier is you have to have your foxhole buddies, and that's how you survive. This is what I love about Jake and Brandon and Mark, is those guys are foxhole buddies. They got each other's back. I love that. It's the relationship, the foxhole buddy relationship. It's me, Patrick, Mike, and Noel. We're foxhole buddies. We lean on each other. We know that we're not going to quit. And we have each other's back. The only way I think Alliance is going to grow is that we all have each other's back and we create these friendships that are tight. Do you have God in your life, man? Here's the thing. You got to know your enemy. Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. See, here's what happens. Satan is really good. Satan, his power is to make you think he doesn't exist. His power is making people think that, it's just, there's no evil in the world. There's no evil personified in a person, in a creature. Just people are bad people. People are good people. He has this way of explaining himself away, that it's just concept. Evil is a concept. No, gang, sorry to tell you, but the enemy is real. Satan is real. Satan is out to take your soul to hell. He's out to take your children's soul to hell. So what are you going to do? You have to recognize he exists, and then you need to act accordingly, right? Here's a way to do it. You put on your armor. Ephesians 6:13 through 17. Therefore, take up the full armor of God so that you will be able to resist in the evil day and have done everything to stand firm. Stand firm, therefore, having girded your loins with truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace, in addition to all, taking up the shield of faith, with which you will be able to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Remember, Satan is not equal to God. God created the angels, and the third of them decided, no, I'm not down with his program. We're going to do our thing. Right? He's not equal to God. And God gave him, he became the ruler of the world. And he's there to take you down. But here's the thing, man. You cannot defeat Satan by yourself. You can only beat Satan by partnering up with Jesus Christ, by girding yourself, by armoring yourself up. See, we can't build this business alone. We can't go through this world alone. We need each other to uplift each other. I'm glad we're the last one because I might go over. Here's the thing. The weapon against Satan is love. You fight for love, and you fight with love. You fight because you love your family. You fight because you love your teammates. You fight because you love your foxhole buddies. You fight for each other. Right? Leaders eat last. 1 Corinthians 13, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Sirach, a faithful friend is a sturdy shelter. He who finds one finds a treasure. There is nothing so precious as a faithful friend. No sum can balance his worth. A faithful friend is a life-saving remedy, and those who fear the Lord will find him. Whoever fears the Lord behaves accordingly, and his friend will be like himself. Like Patrick Connors is my friend. Damon West, star quarterback in Dallas, had a future in the pros, had future in college, except he got hooked on crack. And he started stealing in homes. And we're going to see Damon in January. And so he got sentenced, I think, life in prison, right? And so in prison, he was afraid, and he got some advice from a grizzled old lifetime criminal. And this is what the criminal said. He goes, prison is like boiling water. Now, you can choose to be an egg, right? And in boiling water, it turns hard. Or you can choose to be a carrot, and in boiling water, a carrot gets soft. Or you can choose to be a coffee bean. And he goes, what do you mean, coffee bean? Well, he goes, when the egg gets boiled, it turns hard, but the water stills the water. And if you boil carrot, the water is still the water. But when you boil a coffee bean, the coffee bean transforms the water. And you have the choice to be the coffee bean. You have the choice to change the world. You have a choice to be a meaningful, specific in someone's life when you build and grow this business. You have that choice. And you know what? You were chosen. You came to this breakout for a reason. God gave you the opportunity to choose any of the breakouts, but you came to this one. Maybe this is the reason why.
It is not sustainable for me to do all the preaching, all the healing, and ministry, because our ministry would only grow, and we want it to grow till the end of the age. And I have chosen you 12 as my apostles.
You're sending us?
You are my leaders. And for this mission I have for you, it's best that you spread out and not be concentrated in one place.
I don't understand.
I'm going to go home to Nazareth for a time, and while I'm there, I'm sending you out in every direction, 2 by 2. You will proclaim as you go, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And while you are on this mission, you will heal the sick and the lame by anointing them with oil. You will cast out demons.
Hold on. Heal the sick, cast out demons.
While you are on this mission, I grant you this authority. Someday, you will have it all the time.
With all due respect, Rabbi, we've only just begun as students. We're not nearly qualified enough. Why would you need us for this work?
He doesn't need us. He wants us.
Thank you, Steve. Very good. John, if I needed religious leaders or qualified students for my ministry, I wouldn't have chosen... Well, you get the point.
What words exactly? What are we supposed to teach?
Anything you've ever heard from me.
I've only ever heard the one sermon. You heard the best one, anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're so good.
Uh-huh. That message was not just for the thousands that were there. It was for all who will hear it, from now until the end of the age. How will they know it, you ask? Good question. Thanks for asking. You will tell them. And the places you will go are places I will soon go. So you are preparing the way for my arrival and helping ensure that more people are ready to hear the good news. The miracles you'll perform on God's authority will prove my ministry.
You can make a difference. You can make a difference. You were chosen to make a difference. And all of you are important to that mission. God bless everybody. Take care.